Well, Ben, you know what I learned?
What'd you learn, Walt?
You should never vacuum your house while wearing headphones.
Why?
Because I finished the whole house before I realized I didn't even have it plugged in. I'm rear coin expert Walt Durham.
Industry veteran Ben Parker.
And we are the coin guys from Texas. And today we're going to be talking about the upcoming and just released 2024 U.S. Mint products that are on the way. By the way, one thing I do want to say is we do appreciate the comments that we've been getting. Some people, I've been told, have been leaving episode ideas or stuff for us to talk about. Definitely, if you have stuff for us to talk about, leave in the comments. They'll get it to us, and we just might make a show out of it.
Yeah, give us a good idea. We'll use it.
Yeah. But gold and silver prices.
Yeah, so right now,
kind of been pretty steady still.
they've been doing good. You know, it's up, it's down. It's hard to tell exactly. Everybody knows what direction it's going to be heading. Of course, they have a good idea. But right now, gold and silver, well, all the metals today, they're up. Gold right now is $2,355.70. It's up $27 on the day. So it's down a little bit from some of the highs we saw in previous months.
Yeah.
But it's still doing what it does.
Yeah.
Silver, it's $30.73. A lot of people that I talked to recently, they're really happy that it's staying over 30 recently.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
I mean, it changed exactly $1 at this moment on the day. Silver doesn't do that often. Well, here recently it's done it a little bit, but look at the big picture. It doesn't really do that. But we're really happy with gold and silver. Platinum, it's at $978. It's dead even on the day, so same as yesterday. And palladium is right at $900.
I still think those two last metals right there, those two white metals, they're cheap in comparison to what we're used to. I guess if you go back and look at 2008, platinum was $2,200 an ounce. See it sub 1,000 seems pretty cheap. And same thing with palladium. We've seen palladium up there, and now it looks pretty cheap. As far as retail premiums go, they're not really changing on Silver Eagles and Gold Eagles. Gold Eagles, retail-wise, you're going to be about 6 or 7% over retail. And Silver Eagles are going to be in the $550 to $650 range over spot. Not much change there. Not much change coming from our distributors. So
they're doing a good job of keeping up with demand this year, I noticed.
Yeah, it's not like it was last year, for sure. So I for one am excited about silver. I know we've had people make big purchases when it dipped, and they look like geniuses.
Oh yeah.
And because we placed, we talked about the episode, or last week we talked about the episode how we had placed one of our largest silver orders. That's how we extend margins. I mean, if you guys don't realize that there's no wiggle room when it comes to silver bullion or gold bullion. Like you can go to Walmart and spend $2,000. They're probably going to make $1,000 at least. You spend $2,000 here with us, and it's a couple percentage points at best. Yeah. And we still have to ship and insure it. And believe me, there are people who rip into packages, and that's irritating.
Oh yeah.
I wish we could solve that, but we can't. There's controllable and uncontrollable.
Yeah.
So topic at hand today is what's coming out of the mint and what's recently came out of the mint. And one of the big things that some people are excited about, some people are not excited about, is the Burnished Silver Eagle for this year. So let me ask you this. Are you a fan of the Burnished Silver Eagle?
I'm a fan of anything low minted that has demand. And for the Burnished Silver Eagle, I like the look of it. It's very hard to tell any difference, from a standard business strike. But it having the W Mint mark and the low mintage, I lean the direction that I do like it.
I would agree with that, and I also think it's a pretty good starter set for people who want to venture from silver stacking to or just basically buying silver to buying a collectible. It's not a long as a date run from 1986 to 2024. They started in 2006, but you do get added rarity with it.
Right.
You get much lower mintage for an uncirculated coin. The mints, make millions and millions and millions and millions of Silver Eagles every year, and only a couple 100,000 Silver Eagles that are burnished.
Right.
And so the argument always is from what I hear on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, or wherever, is that, well, I mean, 100 and something thousand or 200 and something thousand coins is not really rare, but in comparison, it is.
Mm-hmm. When you compare it to the business strike counterpart, absolutely, it's rare.
Yeah.
You're talking about a fraction of the original mintage from any of these years.
And listen, like, gold commemoratives that come out of the mint, they're always low minted because there's no demand for them. The Silver American Eagle program has huge demand. And if you really, really think about it, even if there's 200,000 minted, I mean, that's for the amount of Silver Eagle buyers as there are in the United States, that's not a whole lot.
Yeah.
I mean, we have people who buy trays of them.
Exactly.
So 20, there's multiple people that I can name that have, 20 of each year. So, I mean, you got to think there's different kinds of rarity. There's absolute rarity and there's relative rarity. And I think the burnished is, relatively rare compared to a Silver Eagle. Yes, you're getting the W mint mark and probably can't really,
the untrained eye would have difficulty finding any difference.
But, you've got key coins like the 08 reverse of 07, that, that burnished coin. There's good varieties in there to really build a nice collection. It's a good starter set, to work on. They're not always readily available from every year. And I think it's a good program if you're getting into, if you're transitioning from just buying metal to actually finding out what collecting's really about.
Right.
Because it's a low price point. You're not spending $3,000 on a coin by any means. And it's a low entry level.
Yeah. What I really like about, specifically, we're talking today about a lot of products that have just been released, what's coming out later this year. What I really like about a lot of this is that we often talk about ground floor level pricing. Mm-hmm. So, we can't go back to 1986 and buy these coins directly from the mint and, some of these Silver Eagles and Gold Eagles. We wish we could, especially knowing what we know now. But you have an opportunity whenever things are first released to get them at the ground floor level pricing.
Right.
So that's the best opportunity. We're living here and now as collectors and investors. So why not get it the moment it's released?
So we do have a lot of people, from what I've been told, that listen to this show that maybe don't have the knowledge of that we speak of sometimes. And what I mean by that is, we had a comment, well, what's an O mint? So sometimes we talk in slang, I guess you would say, numismatic slang. So how would you describe the burnished Silver Eagle to a rookie collector?
So this is going to be a lot simpler than it actually is, but it's the best way that I can explain it. With Silver Eagles, you have a couple of different strikes that are out there. And the mint, since 1986, has come up with some new ideas. Originally, we started out with two of the most famous strikes, the business strike, which is a mint state, and the proof.
Right.
Those are drastically different. One has that really matte-like finish. One has that beautiful, I always refer to it as, looking at, if you ever, are at waterside and you see like the stillness of water, the surface is extremely reflective. It's as if silver was water, that's the surface of this coin. It's a mirror. I mean, that's the best way to explain it. So you have drastically different two coins. Mm-hmm. And then as time goes on, through years of production, they come up with the idea for burnished. So it sounds simple, but the best way I can explain it is that a burnish is a blend between those two famous strikes. So
yeah, the burnish program started in 2006 for the 20th anniversary of the American Eagle program. They're highly popular, low minted. They're distinguishable to the untrained eye because they have a W mint mark and an uncirculated finish. That's the easiest way to put it. Many of what most people don't realize, and I think even like people that we've hired here, they don't realize that almost every Silver American Eagle, whether it being a business strike, is struck at West Point. They just don't bear the West Point mint mark. Right. Now, there are some that are struck at San Francisco, to catch up to demand.
Exactly.
And the only way that that they're struck at San Francisco, they don't have the S mint mark. They come banded with a San Francisco strap on the monster box rather than a West Point strap. So yes, the Silver American Eagle business strike is struck at West Point, and so is the Burnished, but the Burnished actually bears the famous W mint mark. So let's take a look at the numbers. So these were released on June 6th, and as we sit here, it is June 20th. Current sales to date are 92,515. Last year, the mint, and listen, these mintage figures vary across sources. We're doing our best to get the best mintage, but there's audited, sales figures and unaudited. So roughly, I'm going to, don't hold my feet to the fire on when I quote last year's mintage on all these, but last year's mintage was 158,866. So a little more than halfway there so far. Could this be the lowest minted? I'm not playing that card, but could it be the lowest minted? It does look like sales are a little off compared to last year. How much more Burnished Silver Eagles will be sold in the next 4 months is, that's up in the air.
Let's take a crack at it. What do you think? So it's June 20th, and we're currently sitting at a sales report of
92,515. I'm going to say, can I give a range?
Sure.
135 to 140.
That's fair. Yeah.
That's where I'm going to be. The lowest minute so far is the 2018. That's going to be it's not the key coin in the Burnished series. That's going to go to the 08 reverse of 07. But the lowest minute is the 2018 with 138,947. And again, last year was at 158,866. So it just depends, how demand translates over from silver price. We could be looking at closer to 200. As silver prices go up, even if you do not agree with being a coin collector and just want to buy silver, a certain percentage of those people transition to coin collectors, silver coin collectors. So it could push mintages higher. But right now we're at 92,515. I say if you're a buyer of the Burnished Silver American Eagles, you need to buy them. Buy your first day of issues. I know some people, we'll get into that later, say, oh, well, that doesn't matter. But I can point to some stuff where, as of now, it's probably not going to cost you any more money. Go ahead and get a first day of issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
So next one on the list, Burnished Gold Eagles came out 6/6, June 6th. That is a program that has lost favor with people right now. And I can't explain it.
So it's not something that you can pinpoint a reason, but you've noticed that it's happened.
No, right. So same thing with the Silver American Eagles. The Burnished Gold Eagles were started to be struck in 2006. In 2006, 7, and 8, they struck all 4 denominations, the $5, $10, $25, and $50 piece. Well, since 2010, they've only done the 1 ounces, or 2011, one of the two. So today you can only get a 1 ounce Burnished uncirculated. Will they come back in 2026 and do a 4 coin set? Probably. I mean, if that's my guess. But you're looking at coins that have extremely low mintages. And the reason why they're getting lower in mintages, gold prices are going up, they become less affordable to everybody, right? I mean, that's just it. But let's not look at now, right? Because there's a chance, would you say that there's a chance 15 years from now, gold's more affordable than it is today?
Compared to there's a lot of different.
Well, I'm saying compared to, like, maybe it don't go down in price, but maybe it's affordable, more affordable. Maybe wages go up,
I doubt that.
I doubt that.
And this is going to be, strictly my opinion. I think disparity in America is only going to continue to get worse.
I agree. I'm saying there's a possibility, though.
I currently, and this is the trajectory that I'm seeing, is that the average wages in America are not keeping in line with the price of gold.
Okay.
So I say it's going to be less affordable.
Okay. So is it a possibility they do away with the Burnished program?
See, and what I want to talk about this real quick too, because if you notice, if you've been collecting for a while and you keep an eye on what the mint makes, you'll notice that whenever they start programs and they end them, they tend to be in years that we had issues going on.
Correct.
So if you think back to, they stopped one year, they didn't make anything but the Proof Buffalo. That was in 2009. And this, they ended that in 10, 11. So that was when gold had already skyrocketed. We started to see retreat in the pricing. I see some of that happening. So it's a possibility that they say this program's not been successful and we're looking to, find an area. I think that's one of the areas they would use and remove.
Yeah, because back in 2008, obviously there was the financial crisis of 08, 09, and the mint had just spread themselves way too thin. There was too many products, so they kind of consolidated. And in 2009, they didn't make a proof gold eagle and so on and so forth, right? And that's kind of what happened with the Burnished. And they reformatted the Burnished stuff because they didn't release the fractionals anymore. I think it's a program that could go away. And I think this is relatively, if you look at where gold prices are and what you can pick up a low minted Burnished Gold American Eagle for, I would tell you to go with the Burnished Gold American Eagle. I mean, if you're a Gold American Eagle collector, there's an argument that could be made that you should, how many people do we have buy $50 gold pieces in MS-70? There's an argument to be made now that you could buy Burnished Gold Eagles in Mint State 70 for the same price. And
it's significantly more rare. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, because 15 years down the road, will they stop the program?
Right.
Will the mintages go up? So on and so forth. So you have to, when in doubt, zoom out. And if you zoom out, the coins, the pre-33 coins that are valuable today are the coins that, for whatever reason, whatever that was happening, the time in the economy, they were lower minted. When we talk about St. Gaudens gold coins, that's obviously not the 24, the 27. 24 and 27 St. Gaudens are the most readily available. Something, higher mintages. But those other years, lower minted, they sell for a premium. And I think the same thing will happen with the Burnished Gold American Eagles.
And something interesting to think about, too, is one of the reasons why we build this case for Burnished is that, say that is a program that they remove. They're not going to make an announcement the year prior and tell everyone, hey, this is the last one.
Yeah.
Go pick one up. They're not going to tell you that.
Correct.
They're going to wait until that year, and then they're going to announce that they're not producing it. So if you're picking at least one of these up, whether it's a Burnished Silver Eagle, Burnished Gold Eagle, if you're picking one of those up every year, which is doable, you can do that if you plan for it, then you might end up with one of those coins that's the very last year of production.
I agree with you. And for those of the people who want to make the argument that, well, it doesn't matter if they end the program or not, it's still blah, blah. Listen, it's been proven already. Burnished Platinum Eagles are way more valuable today than they were, and irregardless of platinum pricing is down, but because of the low mintage and the hard to find, there's some Burnished Platinum Eagles that were made, in mintage of 2,000 coins. That's extremely low. And so last year they made 6,046.
Say that again, 6,046 coins.
That's what they made in 2023 as far as the Burnished Gold American Eagles.
No, we might see some fluctuations through audits, and that number may change. But 6,046.
Yeah, that's an extremely low number when you look at what they make in the business strike. So relative, it's like having a 1911 P $2.50 Indian and a 1911 D $2.50 Indian. Same difference with an 1883 P $10 Gold Liberty and an 1883 O $10 Gold Liberty. They only made 800 of those gold liberties at New Orleans in 1883, and they've made, hundreds of thousands of the Philadelphia 83. So, with where prices are right now, because this is what happens. We've talked about this the last couple of episodes. When gold prices go up, people kind of, everything kind of shrinks and the premiums shrink for a while, and you have an opportunity to buy those coins closer to their melt value than you did when they were lower.
Right.
Same thing, like you got. I sent you an article yesterday written by Jeff Garrett about 20 Saints in 65. Do you realize in 2009, 20 Saints in MS-65 were 3 times multiple of gold price of the gold that was in it, and now they're about 30%.
If that doesn't tell you that's a buying opportunity,
right?
Nothing else will.
If you had the wherewithal, the smartness to zoom out, you would be like, oh, they're selling at a discount now. And that's what makes people hit home runs, is when they can zoom out a little bit and go, this just looks really affordable. And I think the Burnished Gold American Eagle program is just really undervalued. We talked about it a little bit last week. You're getting a low mintage coin. You're getting a lot of metal in it. And, you buy your 70s. I wouldn't buy the 69s, buy the 70s. And I think in the long run, you'll be okay. Mm-hmm. So far this year, they've made 17, or sales totals are 1708. That's pretty low.
It is low, and we have to keep in mind that this was a product that was released 14 days ago.
Yeah, it's a couple days, so it's still too early to tell.
And on the other hand of that same argument is that a lot of the sales reports for these numbers, most of these coins are purchased within a week of them being released.
They're always hot the first 2 weeks.
Absolutely. So for that number to be that low,
could we be looking at the lowest minute?
I mean,
I'm not trying to make a marketing ploy here. I'm really just I'm curious, just looking at numbers. It's like, this is what determines future value, right? Because the lowest minted is the 2017 Burnished at 5,800, and there's a couple of years that are right at that 5865, 5895, but 5,800 on the 2017 is the lowest, and it typically sells for a premium. Yeah. What I would like to see now, here's a telltale sign. Like if at 2025 or 2026 you see mintages go up, because that's what you're right now we're kind of on that downward trend of mintages for the Burnished Gold Eagle program. So if you see it go this way, then all of a sudden you'll see premiums for these lower minted years go up. And when the premiums for the lower, then when the mintages or sales figures go up, that means there's more demand on the series. And then you have a percentage, whether you want to say that's 1%, 10%, 20%, or 50%, are going to come in and go, I need that coin. And that's when you start to see premiums rise on any series. That's just a rule with coins.
Yeah.
So I'd be interested to see what people think. If they think, is it a buy? Or are you going to buy the Burnished Gold Eagle this year? If not, why not? I'd be curious to hear the public's thoughts, for sure.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the next one. Ooh, your favorite.
If it's not the Buffalo, I'm going to be upset.
It is the Buffalo.
Yeah.
It is the Buffalo. So you're a fan of the Buffalo program. I'm a fan of the Buffalo program. Yeah. I think it's one of the most iconic designs in U.S. history. So the 2024 proofs came out.
Well, here's the thing.
A couple days ago.
Yeah, they came out a couple days ago. But here's the thing on that one. And I haven't done a whole lot of digging as far as why this happened. But, I keep track of the Mint's product schedule. And I noticed at the end of last month, they had originally, I want to say it was the 28th, they had planned to do the release for this coin. And then all of a sudden, it's June 13th. I think they moved it to last week.
June 13th.
I don't know why they moved it, but anytime that happens, we talk about the mintages going down and then start to go up. Those are some of the things that pique our interest. So my interest, I'm already a fan of the Buffalo program, but my alarms are going off right now.
Right. And so the mintages that's going to be the telltale thing. We already know that they're capped at 16,000, which is relatively low.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's not out of the norm for
I believe last year I have the 15,556 for last year's mintage. So that's kind of right around, 18,000 on the 2013, stuff like that. So it's a little lower minute last year. So you saw the mintages go down. But what you can see, if you don't think mintage plays a part in these modern coins coming out of the mint, because there are people who make the argument, I don't like modern coins. They're not really rare, blah, 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 blah. I get it. If it's not your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea. Yeah. But look at the 2020.
That's my favorite one.
Why is it your favorite? It's the lowest minted.
Yeah.
It's the most valuable. That coin sells for a humongous premium over any other year. All the time. Mm-hmm. Why? Because they minted 11,887.
So in reality, we're not talking about we're only talking thousands of coins difference. But when you're talking about this program, that makes a huge difference.
How many people get started, baby boomers, get started collecting, there's two big things that people got started collecting with, and that was pennies and buffalo nickels. To this day, people bring me buffalo nickels thinking that they're the rarest thing they've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, they're dateless buffalo nickels. They're just, worth about 15 cents. But it's an iconic design and one of the best designs in U.S. history. It's also got a great story. It's the first 24 karat gold coin in American history. It's the only steady 24 karat gold program that has demand. So there's a large collector base for it. Whether you collect them or not, it's got a large collector base.
It's a gorgeous coin at the end of the day.
It's a great coin.
Yeah.
And it's got that dimples on the coin.
Yeah, so
it's not like a standard gold American Eagle proof.
We might need to put one up and show the difference. But on any of the gold eagles, silver eagles, any coin really from the mint in the field, which is the flat area outside of the image, there's the devices or the image, and then there's the field. And the field on the buffalo is beautiful because it has almost like a rolling terrain to
almost
it.
like a hammered finish.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Like if you're familiar with like hammered copper finishes, it's like a hammered finish.
It's textured and it makes it a part of that iconic design.
Yeah, and they've done some special stuff with the buffaloes, like the 2013 100-year anniversary of the buffalo design with the reverse proof. That was a really cool looking coin. I know the Fiji Mint's done some reverse proof buffaloes and stuff. I mean, it's just such an iconic Americana design. And I think people love it. So you got to keep that in mind. The demand's there for proof buffaloes. The demand is there. Trust me, we see it, every year. We deal with a lot of proof buffaloes, and people always they start off with the current year. These when I say new collectors, people who, they started buying gold and they're like, well, I want something better. I want to go from a Ford Taurus to a Ford Taurus with leather seats. I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah.
And they start to go back and they're like, oh, I can. And again, it's another completable set. It's a little bit of a challenge, a little bit of money because it is 1 ounce pure 24 karat gold, but it's completable over time, but it's a little more challenging than just buying, random gold.
Right.
And so people like the challenge and people like the sense of completion. So current sales figures so far, again, these have been released for all of 7 days, is 4,046. And I think the next week's going to be a big tell. Now, obviously, if you keep up with current sales figures, it's the most popular product at the Mint right now.
Yes.
Again, it just came out, so that's not unheard of. If we see a mintage in the $11,000 to $12,000 range, you've pretty much hit a home run, I think, in the years to come.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see another 3,000 reported in the next week. That's not out of the norm, but I would be ecstatic with a sub 13,000 mintage. And
another thing to keep in mind, playing devil's advocate here, is it is summertime. Summertime is typically slow. People are on vacations. People are paying for vacations. People with money are paying quarterly taxes. All this stuff comes into consideration and why sales figures could be lower right now. The only thing I wish I would have looked at is comparison to where they were last year in the first week. You can dig for that. You can go pull. It's a pain in the butt to go pull U.S. Mint sales reports from, last year, but you can go look and see how many they sold in the first week and see if you're on track or not. And that's something we'll look at here. I know that our initial allocation of Proof 70 Buffaloes is pretty much sold out, which is unusual for us, unusual this early. Within a week, our Proof 70 Buffalo allocation's pretty much gone.
It's completely gone. Yeah.
It's completely gone. Yeah. So, we'll try to get more, but I mean,
it's been a week. We need a little bit more time to understand fully what's happening.
Yeah.
But
you're definitely putting it on your buy list.
That coin?
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Something about this year for the Proof Buffalo is telling me you have to get it.
I'm curious to see what mintage figures or sales figures, because they're not called mintage figures till a year later, but sales figure, what will happen in sales around the election, depending on who wins. If Biden gets back in or versus Trump gets back in, I'd be curious to see what that does to all mintage figures or sales figures coming out of the mint.
I mean, it's no lie. This election's going to have an influence on a lot of these coins and just the spot price in general. It's, I don't know if I would say sum it up into a word or two words, but like there's a nervous excitement, I think, for everyone that's involved in these areas.
Mm-hmm. I'd have to agree with you. So let's jump back to silver.
All right.
So as you've read before, I've wrote a research paper on San Francisco minted proof silver eagles. Well, the 2024 S is due to come out now on August 7th.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not familiar with the silver American Eagle proofs, back in 86, 87, 88, all the way to 92, all of those coins were struck at San Francisco with the S mint mark. And then they switched over to Philadelphia and West Point, and that's kind of been it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, back in 2017, I had to make sure, they started regularly striking S mint proofs along with the West Point mint proofs. Mm-hmm. The S mint just comes out later. It gives Silver Eagle collectors more excitement throughout the year. It gives them something else to purchase. Which is basically, I think, is the game plan, right? Gives them more than just that one issue every year, because there are people out there who only collect silver American Eagle proofs. And that's all, so they get their one issue and they're done. Well, the mint, they've really thought about this, and the mint is a business. They're the biggest coin dealer in the world.
Yeah.
So they're like, how can we get people more involved? And that's why you're seeing stuff like the San Francisco. And plus, the 2012 S was a very popular set. Mm-hmm. The 75th anniversary set was very popular with Silver Eagle collectors. So they brought it back in 2017 as a staple. 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, they did an S minted proof. So this year will be coming out in August. And last year's mintage was about 200,000 coins, 207,513. That's roughly about half of the West Pointed, or the W mint mark.
Right.
However you want to say it. So obviously the key coin in that series, if you collect Silver American Eagle proofs, is going to be the 2019 S. Outside of the 95W, that's a key. That's the king. That's the king. But the 2019 S reverse proof is a special coin, and obviously the lowest minted. But being able to get a coin, and they're roughly the same price as when they come out of the mint, like roughly the same price as the West Point.
Difference.
So you're going to get one that's twice as rare, basically, roughly, and you're going to get it for about the same price. So why wouldn't you grab it if you're a Silver American Eagle collector? You have to have it. Okay, you're not going to have a complete set. Fair?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I like the S mints. It's a little bit of variety. I like the one-offs.
That's why we like some of these coins, because when you stop and you look at the numbers and, it's 2 times as rare, it's not 2 times the cost.
Yep.
We see value in things like that. So why not pick it up if it's a minimal difference anyways? In the long run, you're just going to have something the demand will roughly be the same.
The demand for proof Silver American Eagles are not going away.
It never will. And that's the thing about this is if you have an opportunity to get one that has half the mintage, why wouldn't you? So I like it. One thing that I hope they do is they've been pretty consistent with their product schedule for the most part. I want to see, like you said, they have one earlier in the year, one later in the year. So those collectors aren't in that drought. I hope they maintain that. So it's something that, when you do multiple productions of Silver Eagles like this, it can make things a little confusing and when's this one coming out? But if they stick to one early and one later in the year, I don't see any problem with it.
No, I don't see a problem with it all. Like I said, it gives, purely Silver American Eagle collectors something to look forward to. Mm-hmm. In June they have the Burnished, and then in August they're going to have the San Francisco. In January they had the West Point and mint proof. So I like it. I think the mint's doing a good job spreading out the demand, because, again, you can look back through history. Whenever there's like a bunch of products released at the same time, that's when you start to see, because everybody's on a fixed income.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
And so sometimes people have to make that decision whether they're going to buy the S, the W.
It's smart for everyone doing it this way.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Are you a fan of the congratulations set, Silver Eagles?
Yeah, there's a couple, there's some that are often requested. I would say that. So, me personally, I don't collect them.
Yeah.
But I have to appreciate that there is demand for them.
The early years when they first started, the program is the ones that are most requested because they weren't a thing, and then now they're a thing. They mint them and higher, they're more readily available now. Right. But I think it's it's just an interesting coin. So, yeah, I like the 2017S. Definitely on my radar as a buy. Like, it's nothing you're going to make $1,000 on.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's not an investment thing. It's a cool coin, you know. And I could see, we talk about this. I can see them stop doing the S's. Like,
take a break for a little while. They've done it in the past.
We went through a silver planchet shortage before. We can go through it again. And the least, the mint as a business has to look at, well, we sell the least amount of these, therefore we make the least amount of money on these. Therefore, those are the first to go away. So those definitely could go away.
Yeah.
So another one of your favorites, not really, but.
Oh, yeah? What is it?
So we got the Palladium Eagle coming up.
Oh boy.
So
I don't know how to feel about this.
So that's kind of my aspect of it. I don't know how to feel about it. I do know one thing, that Palladium's not hot right now. Therefore, it's not in the news. It's not in demand. It's going to be low minted.
Well, I mean, heck, if you burn your tongue on drinking some coffee, you might take a little while before you drink some more, but my goodness.
Yeah. So here's what I'm going to say. The Palladium Eagle's coming out later this year. If Palladium is it fair to say that Palladium's a volatile metal? It can be volatile. It can go up or down really quickly. I think we've seen that. So
well, and this is the downside of, I'd say it goes even for platinum. Whenever you have a precious metal that heavily relies on or is dependent on demand from an industrial sector, there's going to be volatility.
Yeah. So, because we watched, it was like a blink of an eye. Palladium's at almost $3,000 an ounce.
It went from wow to oh no. Yeah.
It's like a fallen knife. Nobody wants to catch it.
Yeah.
So here's what I'll say to that. I love the design of the Palladium Eagles.
They're pretty coins.
They're beautiful. And if you love that, Mercury head design, man, these are the years you're going to want to buy at issue.
Yes.
Because they're absolutely cheaper now than they ever were before. And they sell for a good premium. Like, listen, you're not going to buy them close to spot price. Based on Palladium, what, 936 you said? Around there?
Yeah, around there.
So based on the U.S. Mint's pricing grid, they would come out at $1,850. So double melt. But the good thing is, if you're buying them initial public offering, I guess you would say, as an IPO, everybody's going to be in it at that price. And so it would take a drastic fall in Palladium, which I don't see Palladium going to 400. It could. Next week we're going to be on there going, I was wrong.
No, but at a certain point, to go from where it was to now, I'd be surprised if it does anything like that.
Yeah, but if you're somebody who just really appreciates the design, appreciates the rarity of it, and understand that it is a precious metal, you can. Again, we talk about completable sets. It's a very completable set. They haven't done them a long time. Very big coin. It's a big coin, beautiful design. The reverse is something like, just all around kudos to the mint.
Yeah.
If that was a gold coin, they would be very popular.
Here we are coming up ideas for the mint all the time. Just
Mint needs to put me on payroll. I'm telling you.
I want to say this real quick though. If you flip it, everybody knows that Palladium's been down over the years. But on the other side, you see that this very well could be the floor. This could be rock bottom pricing for Palladium. It's the cheapest it's ever been coming out of the mint. So if you like the design of it, you might not ever get a better deal than this.
Correct. And it reminds me a lot of silver in 2008, 2009 when it went down to $12. Boy, what would we do to be able to buy silver at 12? But like in the moment, it's hard to go, all right, it's a buy. Because as much as we say, when in doubt, zoom out, it's so hard to do that. And listen, I'm one of them. Like, we're all humans. We all do it. You know, it's just, you know, we could be looking back at gold prices a couple of years from now going, man, we should have loaded the wagons. Right. I think one of the best things I've heard you say is the most regrets that you hear from your customers is that they weren't more aggressive in their buying at the time. You know, if they bought one monster box, they really wish they could have bought two, but they really wish they would have once they see prices go.
Isn't that the strange thing about, you know, human nature though, is that when we believe in something, we don't give it as much credit as we should. Mm-hmm. You know, when we finally, you know, say, okay, this is a good deal. This sounds like something I want to do. We get one or two, and then we're kicking ourselves later on down the road, you know, and we do it all the time because we have our own personal collections and we pick up coins and, you know, it's, man, I should have bought, I could have done this, I could have done that. Hindsight's always going to be 20/20. But if you believe in something, cut yourself some credit. Don't doubt yourself as much.
I always go back to one of my best friends. He's real big into real estate, mm-hmm. and he always told me, like, when I was looking for properties and stuff, he was like, man, you just got this coin guy mentality where you're trying to find, you know, just a deal and like the absolute lowest price. And sometimes you just got to buy it because you know it's good. Mm. And to me, I kind of feel that way with Palladium. If Palladium, being an industrial metal, if Palladium gets up over $2,000, these lower minted years that we're seeing like last year and which probably will be this year, just based on where metal is, they're going to be selling for a premium down the road. Yeah. And so as a collector, your goal is to buy it at a good price, and you want to buy it at the lows. I mean, because it saves yourself money. Yeah. You can go buy more U.S. Mint products or whatever else you collect. Beer cans. You collect beer cans. I mean, you know, that's a thing.
It is. Here's the thing is I love antiquities. I love older stuff. I collect a lot of different things, and some of the different places I go to, I mean, they have some beer cans that they're not super old, but they're a lot of money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I got a beer can that was given to me in there by another dealer. It's Walter Beer. And
how fitting.
How fitting. That's why he gave it to me. And he says about $100. I'm like, for an empty can?
Yeah.
And you know, it's an old can. It still sits in my office.
And that's what I really like about coins in general. I had a good family friend when I turned 18. I looked up to him and I started asking him about investing, and, you know, I wanted to plan for the future, and, you know, what do I do? And everybody wants to be given advice and guarantees that this is going to do that and this is going to happen. And he gave me the first really good bit of advice as a young adult. And he said, well, stop, just find something you believe in and chase after it. That's it. Go. If you believe that, you know, if you believe what a company's doing as far as the stock market goes, just buy some shares. I mean, what's it going to hurt? If you believe in them, it's probably going to do well.
Yeah, you're not a dummy. You know, it's basically just like, quit telling yourself you're a dummy.
No one's going to be able to tell you what to do.
Because I promise you, and the people who watch this, they're on YouTube. Mm-hmm. You can scroll through comments on any video in any industry, and you're going to find people who disagree about everything. Everything. If you comment, oh, I'm buying the Palladium Eagle, you're going to have somebody go, you dummy, they're stupid. Yeah. And you're going to have people go, I think it's an excellent buy. So it all boils down to what we do this. So we have a little more knowledge. We do this day in, day out. Yeah. So we have a little bit more knowledge on, you know, this is what we've seen. This is what we've seen in the past. And it's how we make money. We make money by making good buys and knowing when stuff, and look, for those of you who don't know, the biggest wholesalers and distributors in the world, they make money by buying stuff. They have liquidity. They buy stuff when it's out of favor and sell it when it's in favor. Mm. That's it. I mean, that is a business model many times over. You know, when something's cold, because everything ebbs and flows. It's hot and cold. And Palladium's one of those things that's in a little cold spell. Because of the metal, it's not in the news. So
think about how much money somebody made when COVID happened, and they might have been one of the few people in the world producing the face masks. Mm. You know, it was probably out of favor for a long time, but when people needed it,
when you were mandated to have it.
Yeah, when you mandated to have it, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the same thing with any market, anything, if it's out of favor at one time, as far as Palladium goes, it might be a good buy now. I mean, we don't know. We don't know the future.
Crystal balls in the shop.
Y'all are in a boat. We're trying to give you information. That's the oar. Yeah. Hopefully you take that oar and you go wherever you want to go, but it's up to you to use this information as you will.
I like the Palladium Eagle just because I simply love the design, and I know that if I lay it out in front of people, like if because I have coins on display in my office, and when people come who are not necessarily coin collectors, friends of mine or whatever, might be silver stackers, it's one of those oddball coins where like, what is it, Palladium? That's cool, So, and they see the design, they like, oh, that's really neat. So it is something that's pretty special. And same thing with Roman numeral gold coins. When people see a Roman numeral gold coin, they automatically, it can be scratched to heck. And they're like, oh, it's valuable because it's Roman numerals. Because it's different. Yeah. Palladium Eagles are different. So I'd be interested to see what people say.
Okay. Do you think that's a program we stop? Is that a program you think will stop?
It could. It really could.
I think it's lingering.
I think it's lingering.
Yeah.
Like, again, this is one of the areas that the U.S. Mint doesn't make a lot of money on. So if
anything, they might have lost money on some of this. I doubt they did.
I doubt you.
They're selling it for twice spot, but it's a risky business for them too.
Yeah, and look, there's costs that we don't see that goes, but it's the government. They overspend on everything. I mean, what was that? Go. It takes like $1,000 to change a toilet seat at the White House.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I like it. I'll probably buy it. I'm a fan. I just love the design. I don't, really care. Look, again, we have to remember there's people who collect pennies and buffalo nickels, and the only thing in a buffalo nickel is nickel.
Yeah, you're right.
So, well, now we're going to talk about one of my favorites here lately.
Okay.
Morgan and Peace dollars coming out.
Oh, home run, man. Good job. Just
love it. Love how you're getting people.
I love seeing older coins revitalized and be successful, and they're beautiful. I mean, I wouldn't think when we first heard about it, I didn't think, of course they had a lower silver purity originally. With them having a higher silver purity, it makes a big difference in the composition and the eye appeal of the coin itself.
100%. And one thing that's really special to me is that this is what I look at. Okay. So, product limit for the uncirculated Morgan and Peace is going to be released here at the Tampa show. 275,000. And you might look at that and go, well,
is that 275 each? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We might be, man,
no, that's not a lot.
But here's a fact. More than 60% of that is already spoken for through the subscription program, because you can sign up for a subscription program for the United States Mint.
60%.
Because and the thing is, if you sign up through a subscription program, you get the raw coin, OGP, original government packaging. You get free shipping, and they automatically bill your card, and so it's none of this. Hey, they released today at 11 o'clock.
Try to get online and buy it.
If anybody's ever done that, it is a nightmare. It is a nightmare. We've had releases here in the past where we've got everybody on computers trying to get the releases so that we can get the coins to supply our customers, because guess what our customers don't want to do?
Get on a computer and refresh it 50 times. And yeah.
So that says a lot. That means the demand's there. 60% of people are like, yeah, go ahead and charge my card. I don't have to wait in line. That's more than half if my Texas math is correct.
Good old Texas math.
Yeah, Texas math is hot. That's what I'll say. But yeah, price is going to be like $76 coming out of the mint. 70s are obviously going to sell for more money. Your grade and rejects, will go back down to the
right.
Yeah, I don't foresee a big spike in the OGP stuff, but love the Morgan and Peace. I think the Peace dollar is probably one of the best silver coins the U.S. Mint puts out right now. I mean, that is just the Peace coin. I'm not a huge fan of the older Peace dollars.
Right.
I think the design was well designed. I just don't think it came out right. Like in the 90-10 composition, I just don't think it came out right. But these new ones, razor sharp devices.
And the proofs, I mean, they're beautiful. It's great.
It's
all
awesome.
around.
It's really awesome. So I know this is not a controversial thing. If you're a Morgan piece guy, you need them. If you're a modern silver collector, it gives you that variety. Again, something else. The Mint's trying to, hey, this is something else you could look at.
The one thing I hate to hear is that there are some very avid Morgan and Peace collectors out there that when they heard the news that the new ones are coming out, they wanted nothing to do with it. Mm-hmm. We can't force anybody to do anything, but you're really missing out. If you've been thinking about it, like, I missed the boat on the first couple that they did. Just get at least one. It's a great coin to own, and they're absolutely beautiful.
And this is what I said earlier about first day of issues. If you don't think that plays a factor in modern coins, and you think that's a marketing ploy, I urge you to go look at the 2021 Morgan and Peace dollars in first day of issue or advanced release. They sell for a significant premium over early releases or non-designated coins in 70. A significant difference. It does make a difference. And again, the Denver Mint from 2021 graded horribly. Just graded like absolute dog poo. Just bad. And that's why it's so valuable. And that's something that we could have sat here and talked about the Morgan and Peace Dollar program. We were all about it. We loved it. But that's something that not many people had the foresight to say, hey, what if one of these mints who's not used to striking silver doesn't make a good strike and these coins aren't grading well?
And of course it'd be Denver.
Yeah, of course it'd be Denver. Not used to striking anything in precious metals. But yeah, that's the key coin in the set, and that drives, and especially in first day of issue, significant difference between a 2021D and a 2021 D70 first day of issue. Significant. But I'm a fan of the Morgan and Peace dollars, and I think a lot of people are. It's a huge buy on my list. I mean, a lot of the ones that are coming out now are ones I want.
Yeah.
But this next one is the one I really want.
We're stepping up to
And here's what I'm going to say. I've already heard the downside. It's not a coin. It's a metal.
Oh, no, I already saw this. This is
Yeah, but a while
Screw
back
that.
The Mint did a survey on what designs should be brought back to life. And that flowing hair metal is awesome. And we'll get Jordan to put it up on the screen about how, it is something. The flowing hair is just, it is Americana as Americana gets. And to see it struck like that with a modern rendition of it, man, it's beautiful.
And that's the good thing, so people say, oh, it's not a coin. Well, if it's a coin, there might be the possibility that they do a reproduction of it and continue it like they have the Morgan and Peace. As far as we know right now, this is the only time.
Yeah, as far as we know, and it probably is a 1 year only issue.
Right.
Yeah, I like it. I'm a big fan of it.
All right, I'm sold. I'm going to get one too.
You're going to get one too?
Done.
Yeah, absolutely. My thought process is, I wonder how many people are going to be like us and be like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get that. And so for the rookies out there, would you call them rookies? Green beans? What would you call them?
I don't know. They're just new.
If you're very new and stumble across this, the difference between a coin and a metal. A coin has a face value. A metal doesn't. It doesn't have a dollar denomination of any sort.
Yeah, so like Silver Eagle, it's $1.
Yeah.
All the Gold Eagles have a denomination. The Buffalo does. This one just doesn't.
Yeah, it just doesn't. But it is a precious metals coin. Precious metals metal.
A precious metals metal.
Yeah, there you go. And again, like if you look around, this is the, people use it, like the flowing hair design, coin dealers use it in their logos just because it's so Americana. So I'd be interested to see what sneak peeks are coming out. And like I said, we'll put the sneak peek of the rendition of it up here. But I'm curious to see what people think.
And there's a lore behind this coin too, because the original ones are not cheap.
No,
not cheap in any sense of the word.
no.
So
this is your only opportunity to own a physical form of that struck at the U.S. Mint affordably.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's all public domain. If Nui wanted to strike a rendition of the flowing hair, they could do it, and as long as they're not trying to pass it off as American currency. But if you want a genuine U.S. Mint product that has the flowing hair, this is probably going to be your only opportunity. So it's a 230th anniversary is why they're doing it. Pretty cool. But I'm sold.
Yeah, sold.
Yeah. So I'd be interested. Like, if you think we're wrong on any of these, I know you're going to tell us that, and that's perfectly fine. This is all opinion based. Jordan printed out comments for me saying, like, some people say, like, oh, I disagree with them, but it is a conversation. Yeah, that's what it's meant. Like, everybody's got their own opinions. You don't like ours. Okay. Not going to hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
I'm still going to music bingo tonight.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I've got. You got anything else?
That's it. Exciting year for 2024. We've had some already produced, still available, and some to look forward to.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next time.